The President of the United States cursed out a union auto worker in Michigan after that worker accused the president of protecting pedophiles by refusing to release the Epstein files as required by law. And here's a fun fact. The thing I just told you, not that big of a story. You know why? Because the president's also threatening to use the law from 1792 to send the military into an American city. He's risking war with Europe over his fixation on Greenland. He's sending oil revenue from Venezuela to a bank account in Qatar. He's dismantling the independence of the Federal Reserve. He's overseeing a dramatic rise in the price of groceries. He is once again struggling to stay awake during a televised meeting in the most famous office in the world, surrounded by at least a dozen people in the middle of the day. How do you fall asleep surrounded by that many people in broad daylight? That's like if Joy Behar fell asleep during The View. I can't even fall asleep at night when it's quiet in my own bed. Even if there's a jackhammer outside, that's still more soothing than the voice of RFK Jr. When you go through it all, yelling you to an auto worker was the quaintest thing he did this week. What a time we live in. For more on this, it's time for a closer look. It's worth remembering, amid everything that's happening right now, that Donald Trump is still very unpopular. His approval rating has been underwater for months, and it seems like almost everywhere he goes, he gets booed.
It's a night of drama at the Kennedy Center.
Before the show and during intermission, some other audience members clapped for the president. Others booed him and shouted felon.
Donald Trump ventured out from his Bedminster Golf Club just to get booed at today's FIFA Club World Cup final in New Jersey.
Football fans could be heard booing President Trump during his appearance at the Lions and Commanders game. He was there to swear in new military members.
I, and say your name.
Maybe their name was Boo! Think about how unpopular you have to be to get booed at a football game while swearing in military recruits. That's like if you saw a golden retriever puppy cuddling with a 6-month-old and said, "Hey, those are the two who stole my wallet." And just to be clear, that was not an Eagles game, so the fans were definitely booing Trump, not the team. If it was Philly, obviously the circumstances would be different. Get the president to a safe location. They're throwing batteries. No, that's for the mascot. Eagle down! Eagle down! All right, but so what? That was a football game. We all know football fans are commie libs. What about Trump's trip? We just know that. That's a known thing. What about Trump's trip to a Ford plant in Michigan this week? Surely that must have gone better.
Tonight's shocking new video from TMZ appears to show the President of the United States mouthing expletives and giving the middle finger to a heckler today in Detroit. Trump was responding to a heckler who shouted what sounds like, quote, pedophile protector as the president toured a Ford F-150 plant.
President Trump appearing to give a heckler the middle finger and saying F you twice.
He got heckled by an auto worker. He's so unpopular, he turned a Ford plant into an Oberlin drum circle. Also, what does it say that the president of the United States heard someone yell pedophile protector and immediately thought, oh, he's talking to me? I mean, if you were walking down the street on a first date and heard police sirens and then your date yelled, they found me, and dove behind a dumpster, that would be your last date. Also, can we please go back to this?
Tonight's shocking new video from TMZ.
I never thought I'd hear the word shocking new video from TMZ in a story about the President of the United States. Normally when I hear those words, I think somebody's boob must have popped out on the red carpet. So it's pretty disappointing when it's this boob who popped out and stayed out. I just hope the White House has an explanation for this embarrassing incident.
In a statement to Newsweek, White House Communications Director Stephen Cheung seemingly confirmed the exchange, saying, quote, a lunatic was wildly screaming expletives in a complete fit of rage.
Who are you talking about, the heckler or the president? Because that doesn't really narrow it down. A lunatic who was wildly screaming expletives in a complete fit of rage sounds like the TV guide description of a Trump press conference. Seriously, which lunatic screaming expletives are you talking about? This one?
Over the next 300 years.
It's all bull. These stupid bastards.
He was always a mean son of a bitch.
He doesn't want to around with the United States.
You dumb bastards.
We don't need this book.
They don't know what the they're doing.
Trump curses so much, he sounds like me watching Trump. Actually, it sounds like my dad watching me play golf. Oh, come on, it's your third drop of the day, stupid son of a bitch. Doesn't know what the he's doing. Dad, I can hear you. It's so on the nose that Trump is literally flipping off blue-collar union workers, the same people he's been screwing over for a decade now. He's chipped away at the power of unions. He's overseen a decline in manufacturing jobs, taken healthcare and food assistance away from millions of people, and overall made the gap between the richest and the poorest even wider. It's almost like he's trying to
Around with the United States.
But don't worry, Trump's team has a plan to make everyone happy. Grocery prices may be rising, but the administration has run the numbers and landed on a list of inexpensive foods that all Americans can enjoy.
Let's welcome back to the show now the Secretary of Agriculture. Brooke Rollins joins us from the North Lawn. It still costs people a lot to go to the grocery store. When is that going to change?
Well, here's what I would say. The cost of groceries are actually coming down. We've run over 1,000 simulations. It can cost around $3 a meal for a piece of chicken, a piece of broccoli, corn tortilla, and one other thing.
Okay. First of all, that sounds like a delicious meal. I love to sit down for dinner with my family and dig into a healthy plate that consists of one piece of chicken, one piece of broccoli, one corn tortilla, and because we're rolling in it, one other thing. That list is so bad, I'm guessing the one other thing is a single French fry you have to wrestle away from a pigeon in a McDonald's parking lot. Give me that! Yeah, I'm making dinner for $3. I need one other thing. If I don't get this, the other thing's a rock. Seriously, one piece of chicken, one piece of broccoli, and one corn tortilla is your recommendation to Americans for what they should eat? That sounds like a meal aliens would bring to your cell after they abduct you. Please enjoy some of your Earth foods. You will need your strength for the probing. Also, I have to go back to this.
We've run over 1,000 simulations.
I'm sorry, you had to run over 1,000 simulations to add up the cost of 3 grocery items? Don't use the computer for that. That's not what the computer is for. Also, what do you mean it can cost $3? And how many of the simulations did it cost more? In one simulation, there was a corn virus, and the chickens ate the corn, and all the chickens died, and it was like $1 million. But you know what? Trump's a man of the people. I'm sure this is also what he eats, right?
He threw another extravagant party at Mar-a-Lago for his celebrity friends and loyal supporters, featuring opera performances, ice sculptures, and a lavish dinner.
A Great Gatsby-themed party complete with dancers and champagne flowing.
The champagne was flowing and the crab was piled high.
He was in Mar-a-Lago golfing or hosting lavish parties with seafood towers and caviar and champagne.
First of all, The Great Gatsby is only like 180 pages. How did none of these people make it to the ending? Second, seafood tower. I tried to make a tower with my chicken, broccoli, and tortilla. That fell right over. And yeah, I put the tortilla on the bottom. I knew to put the tortilla on the bottom. Can you imagine if Trump tried serving that to his rich friends? Everyone, if you look at your menus tonight, you'll see. In the style of Great Gatsby, the dinner is one piece of chicken, one piece of broccoli, one corn tortilla, and I'm just with you. We put a champagne luge on top of a tower of crab legs. You should have seen your faces when I said dinner was a corn tortilla. I thought Jeff was gonna kill himself, but he didn't. He didn't kill himself. He didn't kill. And when we release the files around 2037, you're gonna see. He didn't kill it. He didn't do it. But don't worry, if the corn tortilla doesn't sound appetizing to you, there is one more thing you can add to your meal now, thanks to President Trump. Milk.
Whole milk will be back on the menu for millions of student lunches. At the White House, President Trump put his signature on the Whole Milk for Healthy Kids Act.
So milk would help your cognitive ability.
Absolutely. You could tell who's been
Take a cognitive test. Some milk. I've taken a lot of them. I've aced every one of them because I drink milk.
All right, first of all, there's no way you drink milk. Unless someone tricked you into thinking your Diet Coke came from a cow. This is actually milk. It just comes out of a different teat. It's like the soda fountain at a Taco Bell. One's for milk, one's for Diet Coke, one's for Mountain Dew. I just want to say now to everybody hearing at home, I asked for that graphic, and I own it. I own my mistake. But I think collectively, maybe we can all unsee it, no? Also, that was Ben Carson answering him. I know he's a doctor, but I wouldn't trust him when it comes to cognitive abilities. Do you guys remember this?
We just saw Mr. Trump here. I asked him, how did it go? And he said, great. And he said he learned a lot of things. What do you think he took away from today?
My luggage. Hold on.
Okay. Looks like Dr. Carson is going to try and find his luggage.
Uh-oh. Looks like someone forgot to drink their milk today. I've forgotten so many insane things from the last 10 years, but I will never forget that clip. But you heard Trump. His brain is the way it is because he drinks milk. What's the condition of this milk anyway?
We have some milk here. It's been sitting here for 5 days, so. It's from the original bottle.
Oh, it all makes sense now. I drank this rotten milk and it made my brain do good. Also, what do you mean it came from the original bottle? Does he genuinely not know that milk comes from cows? Does he think it's like whiskey? This milk has been aged in the finest plastic. For 47, it comes from the milk region of France. That's, of course, spelled M-I-L-Q-U-E. So you know it's legit. And then, to prove his cognitive abilities, Trump made a very astute point about the term whole milk. So pay attention. Maybe you can use this next time you're at bar trivia.
Schools will finally be able to expand their offerings to include nutritious whole milk. It's actually a legal definition, whole milk. And it's whole with a W for those of you that have a problem.
I think I know what happened here. In the meeting where they decided on this new milk policy, Trump asked his aides, which hole does the milk come from? And then they said, excuse me? And he said, it's called whole milk. What hole does it come out of? And they said, sir, it's whole with a W. And now he's explaining it to all of us. Seriously, what the hell would it be if it didn't have the W in front? What is whole milk? Oh, is that the one other thing? No one cares about any of this. People just want to be able to afford healthcare, housing, food. They want to not get harassed or assaulted by federal agents. Instead, Republicans are threatening that America can wage war anytime, anywhere, from Iran to Greenland to Venezuela.
The United States has demonstrated to the people around the world that we can touch you anywhere at any time of our choosing.
Yeah, I don't think that's how you wanted to say that. Anywhere, anytime, we can touch you and get your whole milk. Trump promised to improve people's lives, make things more affordable. Instead, he's threatening to annex Greenland, send the military into an American city. His poll numbers are low, so he's pulling stuff out of his ass, which, incidentally, is also where he gets his
whole milk.
This has been A Closer Look.